Hello friends, so in this tutorial we will learn how to add a primary key to a table in MySQL. So in the previous tutorial we learned how to create a table and we used this example. So first let's see the description of that table, and as you can see on the screen there is no key in this table. Okay, so there is no key in this table. Let's close this. Now in order to add a primary key there are two methods. So the first method is while creating the table, that is using create table method. So using this method you can add a primary key at column level or at table level. And the second method is after creating the table you can modify the table structure with the help of alter table command. Okay, so now first we will learn how to add a primary key at column level. Okay, so this one is very easy. First you need to identify your primary key. So in this example our primary key will be employee ID because the employee ID must be unique to every employee. Okay, so after the data type I will simply type two keywords, primary key. Okay, so all I have to do is just type these two keywords. First we need to drop the existing table. So we already dropped the table. Now let's create this table. The table created successfully. Let's see the description of this table. Now you can see we have one key, PRI. PRI means primary key, and that is employee ID. So employee ID field or column is our primary key. So this is how we add a primary key at column level. Next, we will learn how to add a primary key at table level. So for this, first we will make some changes. Okay, let's drop the table. And now here we have the basic structure of this table. So for the table level example, first we need to mention all the columns. Okay, and at the end of the table now we have to specify constraint. Okay, so primary key is a constraint, so type constraint. Now what kind of constraint? Primary key. So primary key, and then within parentheses we will mention what field or column we want to make the primary key. Okay, so I will type ID. Okay, now let's create this table. Table created successfully, and let's see the description of this employee table. Now you can see employee ID is the primary key. Okay, so this is how we add a primary key at table level. Okay, now you will ask what is the difference between these two. Okay, so it is very simple. Now just imagine you are in a situation where you have to choose the combination of two or more columns as your primary key. Okay, so first drop the table. Now in this table, if I remove this first field or column, now if I want to add a primary key, so at first just imagine I have decided to make these two columns, the combination of these two columns as our primary key. So if I try the first column level method, then it won't work. Okay, we do it like this. Just type in the primary key after the data type of the column, but it won't work. Let's see. You can see it produced an error. Why? It says multiple primary key defined, which means one table can have only one primary key. Okay, so in this situation, in this kind of situation, the column level method will not work. So for that you have to go for the table level method. Okay, constraint primary key, and then within the parentheses you have to specify the columns that you want to make primary key. Okay, so here we can mention single column or the combination of multiple columns. So I want to make these two columns as our primary key. Okay, so let's create this table. Now you can see it created successfully. Let's see the description, and there it is. Now we have two columns which are our primary key. Okay, so the combination of these two, employee first name and the last name, is the primary key. They must be unique. Okay, let's drop this table, and so now you understand the basic difference between adding a primary key at column level or table level. Okay, so now let's move to our second method, that is modify table structure. Okay, that is adding a primary key by modifying the table structure. Okay, so for that we have to use this alter table command, but this method works only when we already have a table. Okay, so first we need to create this table created successfully. Let's check the description, and you can see there is no key in this table. Okay, so let's close it, and now we will work on our second method, that is alter table method. So alter table, and the name of the table is employees. So what kind of modification we want to perform on this table? We want to add a primary key, and primary key is a constraint. So we want to add a constraint. Okay, and that constraint is primary key, and again within parenthesis I will specify which column I want to make a primary key. Okay, so let's execute this, and let's see the description of this table. Now you can see this is our primary key. Again, if you want to select or make combination of two or more columns as your primary key, then you can do so like this. Just specify the name of columns separated by comma. Okay, first create a table, then we can alter the table using this command, and now you can see we have these two columns as our primary key. Okay, so the combination of these two is our primary key. This is it. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial.